Today, being sleep deprived is like smoking. And you should think of sleep like going to the gym. So it's not that you're going there to waste your time. You are going to bed to let your body recover, to make sure that all your body functions are properly reorganized during the day, including your mental functions. That is why I always say it's like going to the gym. It's an effort that you need to put, it's a time that you need to invest in, and it will deliver major benefits in terms of longevity, health, and also your daily performance.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Powers, and I want to thank you for joining me on the Fort Podcast today. This show is an open-ended discussion and journey covering real estate, business, entrepreneurship, and investing. I would love to hear from you by tweeting me at Fort Worth Chris on Twitter. Hey guys, it's Chris. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Fort. I have Matteo Franceschetti with me today, the founder and CEO of 8 Sleep. We have a fascinating conversation today on sleep. He calls it sleep fitness. And if you're interested in sleep, this really is a masterclass. On top of that, the company that he's building is revolutionizing sleep with technology and products that make us sleep better, which ultimately is going to make us live a better life. So I hope you enjoy, and thank you for continuing to join me on this journey. Matteo, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited about this one. I've been very interested in sleep lately. So just to kick it off, can you just give me a little bit of background kind of about your story growing up and kind of what led you to where you're at right now with 8 Sleep?
Yeah, I'm Italian, born and raised in Italy, as you can guess from my accent. I have been an athlete when I was a teenager. So I was a tennis player. I also did ski races, and I also raced with cars. So everything about sport is something I like. I became a business lawyer. I worked for 2 of the largest law firms in Italy and UK. And then I became an entrepreneur. I started my first company in Europe. Then I started another company in the US. And then I started 8 Sleep, which is my 3rd company.
How did you get the idea to start 8 Sleep, and how would you describe what 8 Sleep is?
Yeah, so at the time I was the typical entrepreneur working long hours, and I started looking into sleep and see if I could compress my sleep. So the question on my mind was, could I sleep less so I can do more? And what I understood were 2 things. The first one, that it's not true that we need to sleep 8 hours. Or better yet, today we need to sleep 8 hours because there is nothing enhancing our sleep. And second is why Elon Musk was taking me to Mars, but I was still spending a third of my life on a piece of dumb foam. Another way to look at that is, let's say that you live 100 years, you're going to spend 33 years of your life on a piece of dumb foam. And to me, that was not making sense. And I started exploring technologies that could help you sleep faster. And technologies that could also scan your body while you are asleep.
And so you get started, and I want to get into sleep in a second, but I saw that you went through Y Combinator. Can you give maybe just a little bit on what that experience was like and how it was valuable to you?
Yeah, I mean, for us, Y Combinator has been one of the greatest experiences. It has definitely been an inflection point for a couple of different reasons. First, at Y Combinator, they really push you to move fast, to be scrappy, to build things and test them with customers. So they really shape the way you think. And it was really helpful. The second thing is obviously being part of YC is also a big validation. And so later on, when it was time to raise money, immediately after demo day or also later, that is something that definitely helped us.
I love it. All right. Well, diving into sleep, you talk about sleep as fitness. Sleep is like going to the gym. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, we have a perspective of sleep that is very different from anyone else, and we call it sleep fitness. And the reason is this, there are people, and it was the same for me years ago, that are saying, look, I don't need to sleep. I sleep when I'm dead. Or there is this old approach to sleep from the 80s where, the tough entrepreneurs, they only sleep 4 hours a day because now they keep working the rest of the time. Today, being sleep deprived is like smoking. And you should think of sleep like going to the gym. So it's not that you're going there to waste your time. You're going to bed to let your body recover, to make sure that all your body functions are properly reorganized during the day, including your mental functions. That is why I always say it's like going to the gym. It's an effort that you need to put, it's a time that you need to invest in, and it will deliver major benefits in terms of longevity, health, and also your daily performance.
And you talk about, everybody, it's what I've always heard my whole life is you need 8 hours of sleep. And you've been really vocal around compressing that to 6 hours. How do you do that to where 6 hours, you can get the same out of 6 that you can out of 8?
Yeah. So the bottom line is this, right? A big part of your 8 hours is light sleep, which is not as important like deep sleep and REM. So our end goal is to compress light sleep, cut it in half, and maintain the same amount of deep and REM, which is what you really need. Think of light sleep as a sort of inefficiency of your body that you want to compress while maintaining the same amount of deep and REM. And we believe that through technology, we could get you into deep and REM way faster, and also help you skip amounts of light sleep that are not valuable for your recovery.
And can you just shed some light on how you define kind of light sleep versus deep versus REM? What does that mean?
Yeah, so I mean, you can be more or less scientific in how you approach that. Usually, I always try to be as simple as possible, and I apply the concept of how would I pitch this to my grandma. And oversimplified, now you can think in terms of light sleep and deep and REM. The deep is the time during which your physical body is recovering every single night. And REM instead is the part where your mind is recovering. REM is rapid eye movement, and is also the time of the night when you dream. So these are the deep and REM are the two most important phases, because again are relevant for both your physical and mental recovery. While instead the light sleep is the more superficial and less restorative amount of sleep that is much less impactful on your recovery. And usually you get somewhere between 18 to 25% deep, somewhere almost the same in terms of REM, and the rest is all light sleep. So light sleep is a pretty meaningful part of the time that you spend in bed, even if it's not the most valuable.
What happens to the body while you're sleeping? Like, why do we need to sleep as humans? What's going on? I know the body's resting, but are there other things that aren't obvious to just the common person?
Yeah, so what is really happening, again, oversimplified, is the body is reorganizing itself at the cell level or at the brain level. And so there is this part where there are some cell processes and functional processes that are happening during deep sleep. And during the REM phase, one of the most important and relevant things that is happening is when your brain reorganizes all the information that you collected during the day. So if you start being sleep deprived, then there are a bunch of effects that could translate into high blood pressure, in a higher risk of heart rate diseases, higher risk of Parkinson, general risk in terms of longevity. And another big effect is also obesity. And the reason is when you are sleep deprived, you develop insulin resistance, which then translates in the fact that during the day you tend to crave more junk food or food based on carbs. That creates substantially a loop where as you eat junk food or you eat more carbs or less healthy food, then you will have a lower quality sleep. So the bottom line is there are three pillars in health. One is sleep, one is nutrition, and one is fitness. You should try to manage each of them properly in order to maximize your health and longevity.
Does the amount of time that you're in bed, even if you're not asleep, let's say you did sleep 6 hours, but you got in bed an hour early and maybe woke up and laid in bed for an extra hour, do any of those hours where you're not technically asleep, but you're laying down, do those benefit you at all?
No.
No.
And actually, if you talk to any sleep coach and you look at this from a what's called cognitive behavioral therapy perspective, you shouldn't spend any time in bed unless you are sleeping or obviously having sex.
Yep. Okay. I want to talk a little bit just about the body inputs. You kind of just hit on it, but describe to me what drinking alcohol does to sleep. Maybe in terms of if you just had one drink, maybe at dinner and then went to sleep versus all night out partying. How does that impact sleep?
That is a great question. And I stopped drinking in April 2019. So in general, what alcohol does, it has a major impact on your sleep quality, meaning it has an impact on your body temperature. It has an impact on your sleep stages. So usually if you have alcohol, you will have a less efficient sleep. So your sleep stages, in particular REM and deep, they will be very likely shorter. Plus, it has an impact on your heart rate at rest and your heart rate variability, which is an indicator of how much do you recover every single day and every single night. So alcohol will reduce the quality of your sleep, and it will have an impact on all your biometrics. But this is a general rule of thumb. So one thing I always highlight is I'm a big fan of a concept that I call personalized medicine, personalized care, which means that each of us is different. And so one drink for me could have a very different impact on my body than the same drink on you. And also the time at which you have the drink will have an impact on your sleep. So the bottom line is, in my case, I was able to stop drinking. I didn't like it much, and so it was not that hard for me to stop. If you want to keep drinking, it's still fine. Just try to moderate the amount of drinks and try to stop drinking at least a couple of hours before going to bed.
Okay, so a couple hours. And then as it relates to food, is that kind of the same for food? Don't eat, within a couple hours of going to bed, or if you eat, celery or a carrot or something, you're fine to eat right before bed?
Yeah, so there is a very strong relationship between nutrition and sleep. And that goes both ways, meaning you should try to stop eating a couple of hours before bed. But even more important, what you eat will have an impact on your sleep quality. For example, there are a couple of studies that prove that eating carbs will help you to fall asleep faster, but it will very likely impact the quality of your sleep. And so the quality will be lower. At the same time, there is an effect in the opposite direction where, again, if you are sleep deprived, this will have an impact on your hormones. And when you wake up during the day, you will crave more junk food because you will be insulin resistant and you will look for extra energy through carbs or other sort of similar foods.
On the topic of caffeine, how does that impact sleep, and when should people stop drinking caffeine if they want to get a great night's sleep?
Yeah, so there I would think in two dimensions again. First, personalized sleep and personalized medicine. So everyone is different. You should test it, what works out, what doesn't work for you. The rule of thumb is you should stop drinking coffee 8 hours before going to bed. That is what I do. A couple of hacks there. So I'm Italian, I drink espresso, and so I'm lucky. Even if I have 3 espressos, they are the equivalent of 1 cup of American coffee. So I don't drink too much coffee. But the hack that I always recommend, if you really like it, is keep drinking the same amount of coffee, just switch to decaf. So if you were having 3 cups of coffee, keep having your cups, just switch to decaf. Decaf usually has only 1/3 of the same caffeine. And so that should help quite a bit. Then again, try to stop 8 hours or whatever really works for you before going to bed.
And then I listened to a podcast you did, and you talked about working out. And I think you had said that working out kind of closer to bed, a lot of people work out after work. you kind of recommended early in the morning. Can you just, or earlier in the day, can you describe why that is impactful?
Yeah, so that has a huge impact on my sleep. I recently started playing paddle, which is a sort of tennis with some friends later in the evening. And all the times that I do, then my sleep quality drops probably 20-30%. So what works for me is training in the morning. You still want to train because it's still part of health. Again, the three pillars of health: sleep, nutrition, and exercise. So it's really important that you exercise. It creates a bunch of different benefits at the hormonal level and physical level in general. And it will also help you improve your sleep. But in my case, and in general, if you exercise later in the evening, by the time you go to bed, probably your body is still active. And so your body temperature tends to be higher. So your body's warmer. Your heart rate might still be accelerated. You might still have adrenaline in your body. And so the results are that you might struggle to fall asleep, or in general, your sleep quality and efficiency is lower.
Two more just kind of on inputs. I don't know if you've ever been asked this one, but does having sex before you do go to sleep help you sleep better? Or is there any study on that?
It's a good question. I don't have an answer, and actually, I should look into that. So I don't know. I'm sure there are probably studies. I didn't find them, but I should look into that.
Got it. And then on the topic of like melatonin or some of these sleep supplements, do you recommend them? Do they make you sleep better? Should people be taking them, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, so this is what I do. I take melatonin from time to time. I am also trying some CBD products. I don't have hard data yet to see if they have any impact on my sleep. Melatonin definitely helps if you're traveling and you're jet lagged. In general, it helps you to feel sleepy and to fall asleep. And so if you are traveling between the East and the West Coast, or you're going to Europe or Asia, definitely that can help you reset your circadian cycle. I also take magnesium. Magnesium doesn't really improve your sleep quality, but it helps your muscles to relax. So that is another good thing, together with chamomile or other some caffeine-free teas that you might take at night.
Okay, interesting. What about the kind of the discussion around you should go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time every day? Is that fact, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, that's huge. That is probably, if you really focus on the 80-20 of how do you improve your sleep, I would say that is the 80, probably together with few other things like temperature. But so the bottom line is this: the most important thing is waking up at the same time every day. A mistake we all often make is, okay, I wake up a certain time during the work days, but then during the weekend I sleep in and I wake up 2 hours later. That is really bad for your body, because you are sort of jet lagging your body, while instead what you want to do is to coach and teach your body to wake up always at the same time. What will happen if you do it, your body will wake up naturally without an alarm at the same time. You will not feel groggy and you will feel ready every single day. Then, as a secondary effect, the second best rule is to also go to bed at the same time. So you train your body to feel sleepy at that time, and you make sure that you get between 7 and 9 hours. But I would say sometimes you can compromise on the time you go to bed, because maybe you were having a drink with a friend, or you were having a dinner. Obviously not in COVID time, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But even if that day you're going to bed slightly later than usual, still try to wake up at the same time. One interesting thing that few people usually mention is there is a concept of sleep debt. And so let's say today you go to sleep later and you wake up at the same time tomorrow, you slept less than usual, probably you feel tired. So first pay attention to your nutrition, but you also accumulated a sleep debt. So let's say that usually you sleep 8 hours and last night you slept only 7 hours. So you accumulated 1 hour of sleep debt, and you have 2 days to recover that time. Otherwise, that will just be lost for your body.
So you lose that hour. Let's say, you're usually sleeping 6 hours a night and you're busy one week and you sleep, 4 hours, 3 nights in a row, is that 6 hours of debt that you still have 2 days to make up on, or is it always kind of a rolling 2 days? And
It's always a rolling 2 days. So that if tonight you sleep 2 hours less than usual, you have 2 nights to recover it. So you should try to sleep more the next 2 following nights, or that amount of recovery and rest is gone.
And this might be a simple answer, but the way to recover that is just to sleep 2 hours more in the 2 days that follow.
Exactly.
Got it.
And so because you want to wake up at the same time, you should try to go to bed at the same time. Going to bed earlier.
Okay. So yeah, you'd recommend just going to bed an hour earlier rather than trying to wake up an hour later those next couple of days, because that breaks your cycle.
Exactly.
Is there anything around, like if you go to bed in a good mood versus a bad mood, if you go to bed stressed or sad or upset, does that impact sleep? And does it impact kind of how you wake up the next day?
Usually, obviously it depends. It depends. Meaning, if you are upset or you're stressed or your mind is racing, what could happen is you don't fall asleep. And so you struggle for hours before falling asleep, which then means that you also get less sleep than needed. Or what could happen is that you wake up in the middle of the night and then you're unable to fall asleep again. Or the third effect could be that you just have very bad dreams. Usually you tend to dream more in the second part of the night, so closer to the wake up time. And so that could potentially have an impact on your mood. But other than these three factors, it shouldn't have an impact. One potential fourth impact is that you will have a more sort of nervous sleep. And so you toss and turn a lot. And that means that your sleep efficiency for the night is lower.
For people that sleep with a spouse or a partner, do you find that a lot of the time people wake up is because they're kicking each other in the night and they don't really know it? Have you studied that at all? How partners kind of, can poke each other or whatever, not knowingly?
Yeah, so we have some data about that. And we see that there is an improvement in sleep quality and efficiency if you sleep alone. I would say there are two types of struggles for couples. So 50% of the couples, they fight around temperature. And the reason is the temperature during the night is very personal. It depends on your gender, on your age, on your body fat percentage, and many other factors. And the second is sometimes the movement of one partner can bother the other one, in particular if one of the two partners tosses and turns a lot.
Yep. And I want to talk about your products in a little bit. We'll get into that. A couple more questions on sleep, especially around dreams. Why do people dream? I don't know if you know the answer to that, but do you know why we dream and what that you said that happens in the REM period?
Yeah, so dreaming happens in the REM period, which is also a moment where the brain deactivates the control of the body. So when you are in REM, you don't move. And the reason is because you are dreaming, your body deactivates the control and the movement of every part of the body, because otherwise it would be dangerous, right? Mm-hmm. Usually you sleep in 90-minute cycles that they include the light sleep, deep, and REM. But usually the percentage of deep is bigger compared to REM in the first half of the night, while in the second half of the night, REM becomes a larger portion compared to deep sleep. And the reason is the body first wants to recover physically, and only once the physical bodies recover, then it will start working on the mind and the brain. And the REM phase is really dedicated, as we were saying, to a sort of readjustments and reorganization of all your information and ideas in your brain from the previous day.
Interesting. Since I was a kid, I've always been the type that once I fall asleep, you could set a bomb off and I just would never wake up. And then I have friends and family that, you could snap your fingers and they would shoot out of bed. Is that genetic, or is that just people that are just constantly living in a light sleep stage? Why have I always been able to, never hear anything once I go to bed?
I think, yeah, that is very different from person to person. So there are some people that tend to have a lighter sleep and some other people that tend to have a deeper sleep.
Interesting. And then just on the topic of, I want to do age and then maybe even gender, but why, as people get older, you always hear that older people, they have trouble sleeping. They only sleep a couple hours. Does age have to do with how you sleep, or should you be able to sleep the same way your whole life if you're doing it right?
No, it will have an impact, and it will have also an impact on your sleep stages. So usually all of them get reduced over time. And that is part of where I think technology can deliver enhancement. Because, I mean, what is wrong today, and it has been wrong for the past 2,000 years, is every night we go to bed and we just lie down and we expect our body to recover on its own. So we spend 2/3 of our life and 2/3 of our day with technology that enhances the way we travel, the way we work, the way we learn. But then there is 1/3 of our life, or the equivalent of 30 years in a lifespan, where we just don't use any sort of technology and we just, again, lie down over a piece of dumb foam. And so I think we got to a point where technology can actually enhance this recovery and make it faster and better.
And then on just the topic, is there any difference between kind of the male genetic makeup and female on how people sleep? Do either one sleep better than the other?
Yeah, we actually have some data about that as well. Women tend to sleep more on average, and they also, if I remember correctly, tend to sleep slightly better.
And I don't know if you know this, but in America, we have the luxury that almost, everybody, no matter their demographic or income levels, sleeps with a mattress. But you go to other countries where, people are still sleeping, in huts and on, dirt and floors. Are they getting worse sleep than we are because they're not on a mattress, or are they just conditioned differently and their bodies kind of adapt to their surroundings?
We don't have data about that. My intuition is that very likely they are sleeping worse, and not just because they don't have the mattress, but because if they don't have the mattress, probably they also don't have anything else.
Right.
So they don't have maybe a very well protected environment where there is no noise, no light, where the temperature is controlled. So the mattress might be only just the tip of the iceberg of something way deeper.
Well, so you just said light and temperature. How much do the amount of light in the room and the temperature in the room impact sleep?
So light has a pretty big impact, right? Because it could have an impact on your sleep stages, and obviously also early in the morning if there is a sunrise that might start waking you up. So it depends what time you wake up, if it's before, after, or at sunrise time. Temperature is huge. Temperature is the biggest factor impacting your sleep outside sleep medical disorders. And so that is why that was the first problem that we decided to tackle with our product.
And we can jump right into the product, but I want to ask some more on why temperature is so important. Can you explain to me kind of the products that you're making and what makes 8 Sleep different from other mattresses and technology out there?
So when you hear people saying, "Oh, you should sleep at 68 degrees," that is substantially wrong. And the reason is this: your body temperature changes during the day based on your circadian cycle, and it changes during the night. So the 68 degrees could be the right temperature for some people first, because everyone is different, as we were saying, based on your gender, on your metabolism, on your age, and also on your percentage of body fat. But even more important is, even if 68 is right for you, it might be right for, let's say, 1 hour, but not for the other 7 hours, because your body temperature, again, is changing. And as we all probably know, because it's pretty obvious, if you feel hot or if you feel cold, you cannot sleep properly. Think of the summer. If you don't have AC, you probably can't even sleep or go through the whole night. And so being in a thermoregulated environment that adjusts based on your circadian cycle and your biometrics is key to maximize your sleep. So it's not even just a matter of comfort, saying, okay, I don't sweat or I don't feel cold. But then there are also plenty of clinical studies that prove that through temperature, you can fall asleep faster, you can get more deep sleep, and you can also get more REM.
So your mattresses, how do they control temperature? How are they built to be able to control that?
Yeah, so we built a technology that is embedded in the mattress, and the mattress dynamically adjusts your body temperature based on your biometrics. We have sensors in the bed. We are able to pick information through these sensors about your sleep and your heart rate and your respiration. Based on these biometrics, we are developing machine learning models that change the temperature to maximize your sleep.
So if I buy a mattress from you, when I get it, do I fill out maybe some type of survey on my body type and my size and everything, or do the sensors just start picking up on that immediately?
Both. So as you join and you install the app, we'll go to a quick quiz where we make you some questions. So this will help us to immediately identify your profile and qualify it across all the thousands of people that are already sleeping on our products. And we will recommend the first temperature profile. So based on the information you give us, we think that you should start with these settings. And then as you keep sleeping on the product, we will learn what adjustments that you make. And based on those adjustments, we will recommend new profiles. In the near future, what we are working on is a temperature autopilot. So substantially, we will be able to change the temperature for you automatically based on the weather or based on your biometrics or based on your preferences. And I mean, when I say or, I mean all of them together. So it's really an and, not an or.
Is there anything around whether the mattress is firm or soft? Does it adjust the kind of how soft or firm it is, or does that even matter?
It doesn't really matter. So we have explored that. And the bottom line was that's not really relevant. I mean, it's relevant the first night for the firmness, but we develop a firmness that really works with anyone. So we apply data and we study the compression of the mattress, and we have seen the type of compression and firmness that was delivering the best sleep. And then we focus on temperature, because temperature is something that changes every night, right? If there is a storm tonight in New York, you will probably need a different temperature from yesterday when there was no storm. And so this ability to continuously adjust every single night delivers much more value than a simple pressure regulation that you would set the first night and never change again.
Do you all sell pillows as well? Do the pillows matter?
Pillows matter. We sell pillows. They don't have the heating cooling technology, at least yet. And so they are just great pillows, but they're more traditional. They are designed around respiration and around, they have a microgel that makes them feel cold.
If I'm on my app, and we don't have to go maybe through all of them, but what data as a customer am I getting when I wake up every morning on my app?
Yeah, so we are developing sleep coaching functionalities. So to your app, you will be coached every day about what you're doing right or wrong. In terms of metrics, you can see everything about your sleep. So how much you slept, sleep stages, the percentage, toss and turns. But you also see information about your heart rate, HRV, and respiration.
And my assistant, and I'm going to be a customer soon, but my assistant actually just bought one about a month ago, and she said something about hooking it up to, she hooked it up to water, or she had to get water in the bed? Am I saying that right?
So you get your bed, and on the side of the bed next to your nightstand, there will be a small hub. In the hub is where there is a reservoir with water. You usually refill it every couple of months, 2 to 3 months, and that liquid is circulating in the bed, and that is how we heat and cool you. Keep in mind that the temperature can range from 55 degrees to 110 degrees. So we can be really cold or really warm. 99% of our customers, obviously, they don't use these extreme temperatures. But there are a lot of customers that they like to get in bed and feel it really, really cold. And that is one of the values we provide.
And then just a quick question on, you have the pods, and I think you have the Pod Pro, and then you have kind of a cover. Can you just describe kind of what's the difference between the two mattresses and the pods, and then what is the cover doing?
Our technology is called the pod, right? And as we were saying, it does two things. One, dynamic temperature adjustment, so dynamic heating and cooling to maximize your sleep. And second, it tracks everything about your sleep, heart rate, and respiration. This technology comes in two form factors. One is the bed. And so you go on 8sleep.com, you buy the bed, we ship it to your home. It's a bed in the box, but it's just the Lamborghini of beds. The other option that you have is, let's say you just bought a mattress in the past few years, you don't want to change it, but you still want our technology because you don't want to sleep on a dumb bed. Then you can just buy the mattress cover from us. It's called the pod cover. And so it's a cover that you can install on top of your mattress, make it smart, and it has the same features of the whole bed. So dynamic temperature adjustment, dynamic heating and cooling, and sleep and health monitoring.
Is the cover easy to travel with? I have a question just around, people that travel a lot for work. Are there things that they can do if they're sleeping on, hotel beds and never in their, usual environment that can make sleeping better for them on the road?
If you really move a lot, no, it's not the perfect fit. If, let's say, you spend 6 months in one place and 6 months in another place, then yeah, you can move it, but it's not something that you want to move on a daily basis.
Okay. I just have a couple fun personal questions to end it, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
I've done 110 of these episodes with some great people, and there's just always been a theme of something that happened in childhood. So my question is, do you have a childhood experience that you kind of remember vividly that kind of shaped who you are today, or maybe took you in a different direction in life?
I think for me, it has been sports, specifically tennis. I was training 7 days a week, 2 to 4 hours a day. And I think there is where I learned a lot of lessons that I still apply today as an entrepreneur.
Okay. And you obviously probably wake up at the same time every day. You're busy growing your business. Do you have a morning routine or something that gets you going in the day?
Yeah, I wake up around 6:30 almost every morning. And yeah, I have a hot tea when I wake up. I try to so I go through my phone stuff just to see if anything happened during the night. I check revenue. I reply some stuff, and then I try to spend at least 30 minutes of what I call self-reflection. So just doing nothing and letting my mind race or go anywhere. That helps me to give a lot of clarity over time. Then I train, and then I start working.
I love it. All right, 2 more. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Never give up. Keep going.
And the last one, I know you're in Miami, which is one of the hottest cities right now in the world. If you owned a billboard on the busiest highway in Miami and you could put anything on it for the people passing by every day to see, besides buy 8 sleep mattresses, what would you put on it?
Start being sleep fit. I think it's something people underestimate, the importance of sleep. As we were saying before, they think, okay, let me just cut sleep to have more time for other things. And at the end of the day, there is plenty of medical evidence that sleep is the greatest performance hack. So if you sleep well, your brain and your body, they will perform at a different level. You will be your own Lamborghini and at your max performance every day.
I love it. How can people reach you or reach 8 Sleep?
They can go on our website, 8sleep.com, 8 like the number, so EIGHT sleep.com. And there on the homepage, there is also a section about me and my Twitter. I'm pretty active on Twitter. I really try to spread the information about the importance of sleep and our vision at 8 Sleep. So if you want to know more about us, just follow me there.
Thank you so much, Matteo. This was awesome. I really appreciate you spending time with me today.
No, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for the questions and for the time.
Okay, great. I hope to meet you sometime. Have a great rest of your day and week.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey everyone, it's Chris here again. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating, or write a quick review. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Chris Powers is the founder and CEO of Fort Capital LP. All opinions from Chris and guests of the Fort podcast are solely their own and do not reflect the opinions of Fort Capital LP. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for real estate or investment decisions. The Fort with Chris Powers is produced by Straight Up Podcasts.